Hi, Lauren. Thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience of our 8-week sales mastery course and working here with us at the Abundant Accountant. But before we dive in, can you share with everyone where you're at in the country and what is your new firm going to be focusing on and services that you provide?
Sure. Thanks, Michelle. My firm is Sage Financial Solutions, and I am located in the Midwest. I'm just outside of Chicago, Illinois, and my firm basically focuses on anything accounting related except for taxes. So advisory, bookkeeping, monthly cleanups, all of that.
Awesome. So, what were your biggest challenges, Lauren, before you met us? Like, where were you finding the higher stress levels of the parts related to your firm and as it related to your sales process?
Pretty much just getting started. I'm still pretty new with my business. I'm just
Yep.
starting it this year. Well, I guess last year technically, but I just didn't know where to start. I had no sales process. So that was kind of the biggest stressor is I didn't know where to start.
Yeah. And not having a sales process, what did you realize or what mistakes were you noticing that were coming up for you that you said, I need to do something about this?
Just the fact that I had no process, so I wasn't able to even I had no starting point. I was not getting clients. I was not even having sales meetings because I didn't even know where to start.
Yeah. Okay, great. So being a new firm owner, right, and you're still in your job, and I know you want to transition into this full time, what would you say has been the most enlightening, eye-opening experience that you've seen going through the 8-week sales mastery course that as a brand new firm owner, you wish you would have known or maybe would have seen in one of these videos?
I guess I would just say really how detailed and how much prep work there is going into a sales meeting.
Yeah.
It's definitely not something you can just wing. It is something that you really need to prepare for, and the more prepared you are, the better the sales meeting will go, and you're gonna be able to charge higher prices and really charge what you're worth.
Yeah, for sure. And now that you have your sales process and you know exactly what to say in a meeting and you're more prepared, more confident, what would you say was, and I don't know if you've done other programs or tried to figure this out on your own prior to working with us, but what would you say was like the biggest difference in having your process and being confident in order to now meet with people versus just winging it before? What else did you try to do to fix that, but you just didn't fix it or get the process that you were looking for?
I didn't really try very much before this. I really wanted to go into my business and my firm with a solid sales process because I know that that is not one of my strong suits. It's not what I'm good at. It's, I
Not
didn't go
yet,
into
not yet.
accounting. Um, but I I don't even remember what your question was.
Well, just like about, like you said, you knew you weren't good at this area, you knew you needed it, but really, when it comes down to it, it's like you don't know what you don't know, and you're
Mhm.
a brand new firm owner. And I was wondering if you had tried to create a sales process on your own,
No.
learn from YouTube videos or books or other coaches before you decided to jump in here with 2 feet and go all in.
Yeah, no, I just went all in. I just said if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right.
Awesome. No, I love that. So I'm curious because you were a brand new firm owner and didn't really, you don't know what you don't know. What were your initial skepticisms, fears, concerns before you decided to enroll in our 8-week sales mastery course? And how did you overcome those to make your decision?
I guess my biggest fear was just the fact that wondering if it really was going to work.
Mhm.
And was it going to be worth the money to spend to get the sales process? I was concerned that maybe I could do it on my own, maybe I could figure it out on my own or do it way cheaper. But after going through the process, I definitely realized this is not something that you should like skimp on and definitely worth the investment because now I have a start to finish sales process that I never could have created on my own.
Yeah, and it will have a very significant high payoff and ROI for you once you start having more sales meetings and doing the
Exactly.
marketing and getting leads in. So, how do you feel now about your firm and where it's at and having that confidence to go embark on on an area in your business that you don't really love so much yet?
Yeah. I'm actually really excited. I feel a lot more confident in my ability to get sales. I'm a lot more confident in what I'm going to be charging for my services as well. That
Yeah,
was also a big thing that I was worried about. Just was I overpricing things? Was I underpricing things? Just where do you land? So now
right.
I'm more confident in my approach to sales and my ability to close clients as well as my pricing.
Awesome. Yeah, I can feel your confidence. It's definitely shifted because
Yeah.
how did you feel before about the whole process other than you were winging it? Like what would you say those feelings were about starting your firm and going all in on it?
Absolutely paralyzing.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I just was sales was just not something that I was looking forward to doing, and because of that, I was avoiding it. Um, and I know that was a big hindrance in me actually starting to get clients and move forward with my firm.
Yeah. And I think that happens to many people, right? Like we want to start our own businesses, we want to quit our jobs, but it's like, oh, I need to actually go generate revenue and grow that top line number on my P&L.
Yeah.
What? Right? How am I going to do that?
Yep.
I'd love it, Loren, if you could share with other brand new firm owners that might be in your shoes. What were some of your biggest takeaways of being with us here in our 8-week sales mastery course? And what would you tell your younger self 90 days ago? You know, the paralyzed Lauren, the one who's wanting to start the firm but just didn't do it because we keep procrastinating or whatever that may be. What were some of your big takeaways of what you learned from us? More than, maybe the confidence and the pricing and other things, or maybe that was the big ones. But also, what would you tell your younger self?
Definitely the biggest things that I learned were just the confidence and the pricing, as well as just the amount of prep. I think going into a sales call, I didn't expect that to be part of the process. But really preparing and having that upfront process in place with all of, the detail and the
Mhm.
different Google Sheets and all of that put together and prepped, so it makes it very streamlined. That's definitely that was a huge like learning curve. And then I guess what I would say to my younger self or 90 days ago self
Yeah.
would just be to trust the process a little bit more. Don't be so skeptical and really just dive all in. That's probably what I would tell myself.
Yeah. And what would you say to those who are skeptical? A lot of CPAs, they're trained to be skeptics,
Exactly.
gatekeepers. I just think the industry as a whole, we're people pleasers, introverts, skeptics.
Mhm.
What words of wisdom would you share for another, paralyzed firm owner who really wants to get off the ground but is totally skeptic of everything out there? And like you said, you weren't sure if this would work for you, right? Like it's this unknown territory. What words of wisdom would you have for a firm owner?
I guess simply it will work and just do it. Just commit. Invest in yourself is a big one. That's definitely something I've also learned is just the importance of investing in yourself and having confidence in yourself and your ability to close a sale.
Awesome. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience
Yeah.
of what it's been like to work with us here at the Abundant Accountant and being in our 8-week sales mastery course. Is there anything else that you'd like to end it with to share with another firm owner that maybe was like a surprise that you learned from working with us or being in our coaching program and creating your full sales process for your firm?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered it all.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again for taking out the time and I can't wait to hear about your growth and all the successes and wins inside our Facebook group.
Yep. Thank you.